Hi, I'm Dr. Rudy Cashman. We're going to have a great show today. You know, I'm Dr. Wellness in essence. And I have with me today, this is me about shopping so that you buy the right food to get healthy. I have with me Cali Minnick. We've been running about 3 or 4 shows. You can catch us Monday nights on YouTube, I think 6 o'clock. And today we're going to be speaking about shopping, what type of food and how you should shop to make it easy for yourself. And Cali, I know you study this and you do it yourself, of course, and you see how healthy she looks, and I compliment you on that. What do you think of some general rules of shopping, or how to prepare for it, how to do it? What do you got in mind, Cali?
You don't want to go shopping hungry. That's number one. And when you do shop, make sure that you stay on the edges of the supermarket and stay away from the aisles. That's number two. And if it has the company logo, it's been processed. And make a list. It's always good to take a list to the grocery store and stay focused so you don't impulse buy.
I think that's a good one, Cali. You know, people should make a list during the week and stick with that list, and every week make a list, and you buy what's on the list. Otherwise, when the queue of the food that you're looking at, especially the sugary stuff, believe me, I can do the same thing, we all can, is that you not buy that. You stick to the list. I think that's a great habit. Yes, continue.
Oh, no, just that, you know, if sugar is listed as one of the first 3 ingredients, it's a dessert. Did you know that?
Yeah, no, but that's interesting. Yeah, tell us a little bit about labeling and reading labels. I mean, let's face it, if it has a label, it's a processed food.
Right.
You know, so a lot of nutrients have been removed. But some things you do want to eat that have labels on them, but you must read them correctly. What are the chemicals in there? Are there poisons? There's too much sugar in there? But tell us about the principles and science of labeling, Cali.
Well, I know that the labels tell exactly what you're paying for. So it really pays to take time and read the labels, because, you know, the ingredient list is very important. And the first 3 ingredients should be real whole foods. And the list should be as short as possible and completely recognizable.
Yeah, I mean, if it's got 10 things listed, probably you don't want that food.
And another thing, can I mention something else that's very important, I believe, is find organic as much as possible. And also gluten-free. You know, if you want to stay healthy and live a healthy life, you want to eat more gluten-free, find soy-free, dairy-free, and non-GMO, genetically modified organisms is bad. So this is how I feel a healthy life should be.
Yeah, so if, for example, I noticed that in apples the other day, you wouldn't believe this, but I have a woodchuck living under my house. I refuse to kill him. So I use him really to test whether it's organic or non-organic. It's a true story. So I bought an apple, real shiny red apple, you know, and I gave it to him to eat. He wouldn't eat it.
Of course
and then
not.
I bought an apple that said organic on it, went right back to the market, got me one that said organic on it, and he ate it. So I've since found out they take apples, inject them with nitrogen, and make them taste. They pick them green to make them taste like an apple, and then they spray it with a red chemical. You wouldn't want to know what the chemical is made from. It's actually made from bugs. And in New Jersey, you know, a chemical is well known. And so you got to read labels, okay? And you need to read is how much sugar does this have? How much fat does this food have? Go right down the line. And there are government regulations. For example, if it has less than 5% of fructose, example, which is a sugar, and not necessarily good sugar either, that they don't even have to put on the label. So let's face it, if it has a label, it's not healthy to begin with. You know, but I always look, what's the sugar content? What's the fat content? Like I drink some almond milk instead of regular milk, because I read a book, Whitewash, by Keon on milk. I don't drink milk anymore. So I eat almond milk, but there's no fat, no sugar. So I'm reading the label. So, and become an expert in label reading, I think, would be a good thing. And the fruits, and to see if it's organic or inorganic. One having had, if it's non-organic, there's going to be a lot more chemicals and fertilizers and pesticides and all sorts of things because they check the blood in infants being born. They do some blood of the umbilical cord, and they find children being born have in it 200 foreign chemicals born in America today. Is that believable? Yeah, that is believable. And she mentioned a shop on the outside first because the better foods generally are there. But we noticed one big food store here in town recently who used to have a section that was all organic. They dispersed it. And they all mixed it up with everything else because I think they wanted you to see the cue that you would see something bad and then buy it. Yeah, so, but I mean, it's just great. So try to pick out some of the markets that are much more likely to be organic. Whole Foods, Fresh Market, different places. And something else I'd like you to know, which is very interesting. There are, in the country, like Whole Foods will use which is unfortunately at a store in town here, ANDI scores, Aggregate Nutrient Density Index. It's where Dr. Joe Furman, who wrote that famous book, Eat to Live, Whole Foods will label the food 0 to 1,000. Like you buy some kale, it'll have 1,000 points on it. If you buy white bread, it'll have 10. So it tells you a lot about about how many vitamins, how many minerals, how much oxidative potential that it has, how much health, how many phytochemicals, foods of color in that food will be labeled by the Aggregate Nutrient Density Index, the Furman way. Yeah, you can read about it in his books, Eat to Live, or you can on the internet. But Whole Foods has that. That's another system which I think is even more dispersed. It's based on a book by Dr. David Katz, K-A-T-Z, and he uses a 0 to the 100, 0 to 100. It's called the NUVAL, N-U-V-A-L, NUVAL system, 0 to 100. You can go to Myers in town here, and I've checked it. They have some of the foods labeled 0 to 100. That's an advantage, and the higher the number, more nutrient dense it is. And it says in Katz's book that they have it in 1,700 supermarkets. Mm-hmm. Wow. And it's going into others. I checked with Kroger's, and they had never heard of it, but I checked on their site. There are some Kroger stores in the nation where they're trying it. So what I wish they would do is have a red light, a green light. You know what I mean? A black light, a green light, or if it's real bad, have a red light on it. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I agree.
But they'll never do it. But wouldn't that be neat? If you go to a store without having to have tremendous amount of knowledge, you would see how nutrient dense it is by a value system, I think. And the ANDI scores has in it the antioxidant quote. For example, how is this a healthy food to eat? For example, and it's really a great system. So prepare what you're going to buy. Don't vary from it. You might occasionally need to, but remember your cue. You know what I mean? There's some nasty foods I don't eat, but if I see them and I'm stressed out enough, I might just buy it or even eat it, and we're all the same.
It goes back to making that list and
yeah, it goes back to making that list. And also, I highly recommend you learn to cook. For example, if you're pre-diabetic or diabetic, which at least half the nation is, or a little higher, that you got to learn to cook. I talked to somebody the other day, having a little visual also. I think he's probably pre-diabetic, but he eats out lunch and dinner. Well, if you eat lunch and dinner, you're not going to be healthy. You're not going to be healthy. And so I think it's important to learn to cook. 30% of the people claim they know how to cook, but they follow them around. It's only 15%. Yeah. So it's interesting. I haven't always know how, but I'm trying to learn. And we already mentioned, and buys. And so let's discuss a little bit. I mean, what are good and bad foods? Mm-hmm. There's a book written here by Dr. West Youngberg, Goodbye Diabetes. Excellent book. Dr. Furman wrote End of Diabetes. I wrote The Secret of Reversing Type 2 Diabetes. It's not that hard. I'm writing another book right now, 30 days, 90% of the time. I can do it in 30 days, 90% of the time, if you eat the way I say. Not a diet, just different types of food. But Dr. Westberg, who I ran across at Hilton Head recently, I think he dropped them in on me because it's nice to have somebody's book confirm what I'm teaching already. You know what I mean? I can quote you 10 books that you can go to diabetes in 90 days if you eat the right way, so there isn't any question about it. Yet I talk to most type 2 diabetics, and half the people, at least pre-diabetic, they're totally unaware of it. I just finished playing some pickleball at the Y, and one of the guys playing, him and his wife, both undiagnosed diabetics. Yeah, no doubt about it, and it's sort of shameful. Let's discuss first-class foods. I mean, the best way to get healthy is to eat first-class foods. Then you need to shop for first-class foods. But let's go down the list a little bit. I mean, generally what we're recommending, 70 to 80% foods of color, fruits and vegetables. You can add onions and mushrooms. They don't have color. They're full of vitamins, minerals, phytochemicals. Walk a half-hour a day. You can be very healthy right there. Not complex. So, first-class foods. Green leafy vegetables. Give me some examples here, Cal.
Kale. Kale is my favorite.
That's the big one, isn't it?
Yes. Kale and spinach, Swiss chard, bok choy, collard greens, things like that.
Yeah, let me give you some of Wes Gray's too. You mentioned some already. Romaine lettuce, spinach, broccoli, kale, collards, turnips, greens, mustard greens, cabbage, arugula, Swiss chard, bok choy. Green leafy vegetables, very healthy. You can make good smoothies out of them.
And you know what? Ever since I've been listening, I've been paying attention to you and listening to your lectures.
Yeah.
And I've been feeling so healthy because I'm making these wonderful green smoothies, and it's all because of Dr. Cashman.
Thank you. And get a Vitamix machine, or you can get a Ninja, which are very good,
and
a little bit cheaper, and a NutriBullet. And a Nutritech is another one. So many different price levels. They're all good. Some is a little better than others. You make yourself some smoothies and juices every day because it breaks down the membranes of the cells and all the phytonutrients that go to your body, which will heal you. That's a doctor living within you. You just eat the right food. Okay, that is some green vegetables. Give me some examples there.
Peppers. How about green peppers and broccoli? Brussels sprouts. I love Brussels sprouts.
You got them. Green beans, asparagus, cucumbers, zucchinis, green bell peppers, Brussels sprouts, artichokes, celery, sprouts. And they have a lot of fiber in them. The beauty of this is you eat 1,000 calories of these, you'll probably absorb only half. You'll be skinny and healthy, very healthy, full of phytochemicals and nutrients that lead to good health. They provide an abundant amount of phytonutrients for optimal health. Don't forget that statement. That's a big one. That's a big one. Colorful vegetables, foods of color have more phytochemicals in them. Carrots and beets and everything is color. Greens are much more healthy. Carrots, tomatoes, purple cabbage, bell peppers, eggplant, squash, beets, cauliflower, beans and legumes. Beans, especially a diabetic's friend. Beans are a diabetic's friend because they have so much fiber in them, so much protein in them, they don't raise the blood sugar much, and they kill the appetite. You don't need to eat meat 7 days a week. Beans have plenty of protein in them. As a matter of fact, 100 calories of broccoli has more protein in it than a steak. Hardly anybody knows that, but you got to eat a little more, obviously, but much healthier. No cholesterol, no fat, no cancer chemicals. And starchy vegetables, sweet potatoes, yams, baked potatoes, corn, peas. And we talk about a plate. I sort of designed a plate, Rudy's plate. Rudy from Notre Dame, maybe, okay? Well, my name, Rudy, well, that's the way it is. A plate, 1/2 vegetables, okay? Non-starchy vegetables, which we talked about already. A quarter of that plate will be starchy vegetables, which we just talked about a little bit. Carrots, tomatoes, cabbage, cauliflower, for example, starchy vegetables. And a quarter would be organic meats or soybeans, things like that, which have a lot of protein in them. So starchy vegetables we spoke about, maybe a quarter of the plate. So you have a healthy plate there. All you can eat, no limit, because the phytochemicals, the vitamins, and that will turn your appetite off. So it's easy. Is eating healthy hard? No, it's not. It's not. Is it weight loss easy? Yes, because the vegetables are so full of fiber. You will not, a lot of it goes in the stool. It takes so much energy to metabolize it that you lose a lot of the calories. There's so much water in them. So is weight loss hard? No.
No.
It's not. It's not hard. Let's talk about some more first-class foods. Fresh fruits we spoke about, but eat the original fruit. For example, in juicing, I recommend you use the vegetables and not the fruit. Eat the fruit because the fiber, okay? It won't raise your sugar. But if you eat mainly the vegetables for your juicing, the blood sugar stays very stable. If you're a diabetic and you eat a lot of fruit, your blood sugar may go up a little bit high and then it dives back down and you won't feel so good. So eat the fruit. For the juicing, eat the fruit, but use the vegetables for the juicing. Now the smoothie, because you keep the fiber and things, you can add some fruit in there, makes food a little bit sweeter, and it tastes good, but it has a lot of fiber. You won't absorb, the sugars will not go sky high. Let's talk a little bit here too while we're on it. You know, when you eat some good fats, and some olives, some avocados, whole coconuts, nuts and seeds, they have the good fats. The nuts, the seeds, the avocados, coconuts, whole olives, they're good. We need some good fats. Why is that? Because there's some fat in every one of your cells of your body. Before we had a heart and a lung, the way conduction occurred in the body was eicosanoids, those 18 carbon omega-3, omega-6s you hear about, essential fatty acids. Mm-hmm. These jump from cell to cell, and this is fat. Every leaf in the universe has some fat in it. So fat isn't necessarily bad. I mean, if you're way overweight, you're eating a high-fat diet, which only 4% is used in metabolism, you're going to gain more weight, obviously. But we all need some fat every day, right, Cali? You eat some cucumber and
I eat avocados too.
And avocados like anything, right?
Yeah, I love
the
avocados.
Good fats.
And nuts. I eat a little bit of nuts every day.
Yeah.
They're good for you.
Dr. Furman Eat to Live, who wrote that famous book, he eats 2 ounces of nuts a day. I don't suggest that. 1 ounce is plenty. And you don't even have to push it that. That's what I might keep in the car. If I get hungry and dinner's way away, I might eat 5 nuts or something. It's very healthy,
and
actually.
Seeds. And seeds. Pumpkin seeds are very
put
good
seeds
for you.
on your salads because it increases absorbability 10 times. Mm-hmm. Yeah, 10 times. And let's go through the list of these foods, a little further. Second-class foods, for example, processed whole grains, whole wheat or whole grain bread. To be healthy whole grain, they want it to be 100% whole grain. I'll be honest with you, all breads, I don't think it's what it's made from. In the end, it's sugar. Now you can get Ezekiel bread, which is sprouted bread, which is healthier, less sugary, still has a lot of the vitamins. That's a good clue. Ezekiel bread, you can get it in the freezer section of a market, and you have to keep it in the refrigerator because otherwise it would deteriorate. Okay, so stay away from breads. Maybe some Ezekiel bread, but most, especially white bread, what's it? 1,000 points, bad points. It's like 10 on the Andy scores. 10. Kale is 1,000 points. Okay, processed fruits or vegetables, applesauce, canned fruits, they all have added sugar. Dried fruits, a lot of sugar. You want to eat the original fruit. You don't want to eat the dried fruit because it's so high sugary. Milk alternative. I think soy milk, I think is fine too, but I think if you really be safe because soy has some estrogen in it.
Yes.
And can increase breast cancer rate in females, for example.
That's why I've eliminated it.
Yeah, I go for almond milk, and almond milk is easy to make.
It is.
You make it. I mean,
no, I haven't. I haven't made it yet.
And with the Vitamix or something, it take you a minute to make it.
That's true.
Or you can buy it.
That's what I do.
Califia and Silk. I think I've used those. I think are good almond milks, and meat substitutes. I mean, you say, well, if you're going to duck, you're not going to have me eat meat. How about you meat substitutes? I mean, that's fine. They taste even, frankly, like steak. I've eaten some of them, and they make them some from soybean type products. But it is a processed food, so they'll add things to it. A little sugar, a little salt, and And you got to read the label, you know what I mean? If you find a meat substitute, which is going to be a big thing in the nation, big thing, because it's healthier, obviously. But it's still sort of a second-class food because it has additives. And it's processed, you know, but read the labels. It sure is a heck of a lot better than eating a bunch of steaks, which if it's not organically raised, which has herbicides, pesticides, cholesterol, cancer factors, and then you got to fry it, and then you're going to eat it. I mean, is that healthy? No, it's not healthy. And if you're eating steak 7 days a week, you're not going to be healthy. And it's just the way it is. And they put cold water fish in there, I mean, which generally is healthy, but fish, I don't care if it's fatty. Fish are 30-40% fat. But I would eat shellfish or shrimps because they're high protein. I mean, you got to get some protein into you. So I think to eat some shrimp or crab legs, for example, pretty healthy.
But what about wild salmon?
But you need to read the labels. If they're raised in a pond where they feed them genetically modified corn, they're not going to be healthy. So you got to make sure it's from the ocean. Mm-hmm. Yeah, I would ask the waiter, is this from a pond or is this from the ocean?
That's another thing.
You know, I think it's
that's
important
another
to
thing
ask.
that I've learned from you. I have listened to you, and I will not eat anything but wild salmon now.
You know, I think this is important. Then they speak about third-class foods, refined grains. You know, they have the fiber, everything stripped from them. Refined sweets, cakes, pies, pastries, third class. Maybe 10th class, huh? Yeah, don't buy them. I'm used to not eating those things. I don't see them. If you look at them and you're hungry, especially holidays, it's hard. We can say, well, I'm over my sugar addiction. Sure you are. And I mean, I eat pretty darn good, but if you put a donut there and I get a stressed out day, you better hide it pretty quick. So this is a judgment-free zone. But if you're going to be healthy, we can't eat as much sugar as we're eating. That you have to cut it out. And sugary drinks, I think, just forget them. Just forget them. I think the thing to drink is water, some lemon and lime.
Yes.
And I use some Pellegrino water. It's bubbly. It tastes good. Or just plain old water.
Yep.
And but especially high fructose corn syrup, which they add to these drinks, are very unhealthy. Goes to the liver, makes fatty liver, causes diabetes, causes heart attacks and strokes. Forget it. And the reason they use high fructose corn syrup is because they add an enzyme the Japanese discovered in 1970 or so. It made it a lot cheaper. So industry jumped at it, and they can make these sugary drinks a lot cheaper. That they poisoned you in the process, nobody cares. They sold Cokes for 5 cents to the American soldiers in the Second World War. What do you think happened by the time they got home? They were sugar addicts. Sugar is more addictive than cocaine. 4 to 8 times. Yeah, that's why we crave it so, because it affects the circuitry of our brain quickly. You want a quick fix to feel good? Eat a donut. But how unhealthy that is, and how addictive that is.
Think of yourself looking like a donut, and then maybe that'll deter you from eating
visualization is a good way of teaching.
Yes.
I think it's really great. I think it's really great.
That's what I have to do a lot.
If you visualize something, that's a way of speaking to your subconscious mind. And matter of fact, I'm glad you mentioned that. I know at my hospital, which I redesigned because I was kind of nice to the dietitian, and but she had to keep a little bit of stuff in there, in desserts for the doctors. So, but I don't look at the cue. You know what I mean? And now, how do you keep from looking at it as you walk? Well, the salads and nuts over there, you can eat very healthy there at the hospital. And is that now that I walk by those donuts or sugary desserts again, I visualize somebody having a heart attack. Yeah. So visualization has value. You know what I mean? If you visualize something bad, you're much less likely to. I'm glad you brought that up. And you don't want to use too many oils because oils are 100% fat. Even olive oil, tablespoonful, who cares? But it's 100% fat. So if you're having a beautiful salad of a very beautiful looking thing with nuts and seeds and onions and carrots and strawberries and just a great old salad, and then you pour 500 calories of a nasty dressing on there, you might as well eating a steak.
I have eliminated olive oil as well with salad dressings. All I do is use vinegar now.
You can turn a salad into 800 calories, no problem. No problem.
But vinegar is good.
So yeah, vinegar is good. You know, add a little something, and I don't put a lot on it. You know, a little vinegar I think would be good. So these things you got to buy, and restock. You know, things that you, condiments and things that you use. Keep track of your pantry, you know, in your kitchen. You know, because they make things taste better without costing, you know, a lot of calorie intake. While we're speaking about this, let me review take a second here about books we both have written. Cali recently wrote a book called Opening the Envelope, A Journey of Hope, a great book. You can get it on Amazon. And I wrote a book called The New Slavery. It's about sugar. We're slaves to sugar. And I wrote another one, Our Body on Fire, Destroying Our Health, for example. You go to Amazon Books, Cashman Health. We have like 150 lectures on Cashman Health that you can watch. So in summary, what we're saying is that in the next show, I think we'll go a little more detail in cooking, is that shopping is extremely important. And teach your children to shop. Don't give your children, I saw it the other day, a separate cart and tell them they can shop whatever they want to get. Don't do that. I saw that. And all three, the two kids and the mother, looked unhealthy. Okay, so come with a list, be prepared, learn where the good foods are, what the bad foods are, and you'll be very healthy. What I'm saying is, if you eat right, a little bit of exercise every day, increase your activities at home, for example, by taking the dog for a walk or dancing while you're doing the dishes. Get your family involved with cooking. You're going to have a lot better family. Yes, Dr. Mark Hyman, they don't eat dinner till he's and the family are there, then they start dinner. And a lot of us don't have time for that. As a neurosurgeon, I think my family would be starving. But some of us who do have a chance, that's a wonderful way to teach people to eat right, teach them to cook, and it's a family gathering. I bet people who do this, divorce rates go, you know what I mean? Because they're better relationships. And if the kids can grow up and they really know how to cook, how wonderful that is. But thanks for watching our show. And we also have on Wednesdays, Mind-Body Connection, different shows that we have. And we're going to have a radio show soon here at Public Access. And I thank Public Access for giving us this opportunity. We have free lectures, which you can find the schedule on cashmanhealth.com. It tells you my next reversing stopping diabetes lecture. You might have one on migraines and maybe on pain, different things. And you can really gain a lot of knowledge. I'm trying to pass out knowledge. I'm doing this because Cali and I are trying to get you well. I know, Cali, you spend a lot of time on this, and I think we're going to have your dad on here one of these shows to talk about gardening, so to be a great cook. Now, if you can raise the vegetables yourself, you become very knowledgeable there. And if you eat right out of the garden, of course, those plants have fought off the enemies, the viruses, the bacteria. If you eat that, it happens the same in your body. So anyway, thanks for watching the show, and we'll see you next time. We love you all. Cali, thank you for being on the show.
Thank you for having me. Thank you so much, everyone.